你现在自己做，然后
Ano
去上
yan?
面分好了。
Ano yung plak niya?
Chinese.
Chinese din. Wala lang
Oo.
wala ka itong barikatan na na siya.
超
Chinese
级
din.
翻盘，因为我跟 SS 关系也好嘛，然后我就打完特别生气，然后就非常生气的指着他说：“哎，你小狗实在让我太失望了。”
然后直接影响了我们那一把输了以后，直接影响了我们第二把的心态和策略，直接导致我们第二把输的很利落。
As we had just talked about, the mentality of the players will really matter in games that are high stakes like these T1 gaming, showing that they were down the first game and it was rough for them to take that loss, but that emotion carried over into game 2 and they lost swiftly. So like you guys mentioned, all three of you, they really need to take a step back and reset, regroup for game 2. Now, what are we expecting to see in changes? You said swap out the Omni Knight. Other than that, what do you think V2 Gaming can do for game 2 to really?
Yeah, I think you try to give away the mag. If they don't work out, most likely, this game you're going to be like, okay, our prepared shot didn't work. I don't think we can deal with this unless they've got first pick now and they can first pick it themselves.
Interesting. Well, I don't know if we're gonna see this Magnus ban. They have 2 bans left. They're currently in the ban. In the ban phase, we see Io and Tiny getting banned out. We are going to go ahead and
Who do you
we
think?
are going to get started with this game. Apologies, sir.
Gamer versus T1 Game 2.
Hello and welcome to game number 2 between V2 Gaming and T1. We're in the draft battle, and we have changed the cost for FV, Canadian FV, sorry, apologies. And we have FV here.
He had some issues, I'm talking about.
Yeah, so we decided that for this draft we should get people who played Dota till 4 a.m. as opposed to studying the team, so you can get the best information about the heroes. Jenkins, how do you feel about that statement?
I think you should put people on blast for a million people.
Right, well, I'm done.
He's Canadian, I think I'm Jordanian Jenkins.
Oh, look at this. These guys actually behind the scenes are best friends. They spend the whole time outside of the panel holding hands. So, Vici versus T1.
That is not coincidence.
That's untrue. They socially distance. Vici Gaming versus T1. What can you tell me about the expectations for Vici Gaming this week? Because they need to win this.
I think the Omni Knight was interesting. It was an experiment, and it's likely that experiment, they decided that it was a failed experiment. I think it's a 39% win rate guy, and
You mean in Dota book?
on Dota2ProTracker.com,
Did you know that he has a 0% win rate?
yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You can purge all of the spells, which is quite an issue, and there's an item that you can buy that chain purges. That's one problem.
Yes, he lost to the 1 out of 1 games. Absolutely.
And those stats are not good.
No, but I'm glad that Beach is going back to basics because Weaver is one of the best heroes that they had during groups. It was one of their highest win rate heroes, and I don't know why, but during main event, Beach just strayed from their comfort, right? They were first days in 11's heroes, and they were picking their Weaver whenever they could, and it feels like they tried to be a little bit more experimental, maybe because they thought that they were studied. But I think for this game, they have to just play what they know.
Actually, I'll take it for you, I think, but he was one of the innovators of Weaver support back in the day when he was on Serenity, and that hero started getting picked up a lot, so that's why he's so comfortable on the hero. It was back, and he's like, this is my TI, which I know you believe, Jenkins, because you have a great belief in Vici.
May I say something?
Okay, sure, other
There
Jenkins.
was, Jordanian Jenkins, thank you. But there was a tweet that I remember by Jenkins. He said, everything Weaver is overpowered.
Jenkins, what do you think of that tweet about you?
I was right, and BSJ claimed that tweet immediately, as he does with things. He claims things as his own. He claimed he was North American, all of a sudden claims Europe as his main region.
He did show me a European passport. which she had just taken off some random.
He's biased against everything, and so with Weaver, you know, the most annoying thing about this hero, honestly, the Aghanim Shard, that's probably the most busted thing about the hero. You just can't counter it with Ghost Scepter. Invis doesn't counter it because it literally reveals. Yules doesn't take it off. Like, you have to sit there and hit the bug, which now that you have the bug hit talent, you get both the bug hit talent and the minus armor talent. Before, you had to choose between them. So the bugs are just incredibly powerful, and yeah, that's.
I know you said before or you can answer this. That Swarm is one of the strongest minus armor abilities.
It is.
Absolutely, and with the whole invis reveal that it does, it's just given it so much more utility as a support, which is what you want. And before, when Weaver was played as a support just for his admins, not the shard, the scepter. The issue with that was that it was trying to come online, and then if they had some kind of drop that could hyper-focus on him, it would negate a lot of it away. But now that he's not even being played for that, his vessel or earned plus shard timing is really fast. So I consider him a fast hero.
We've spoken about Lina a lot here. We get comfortable play for Ori, and also a hero that has no bad matchups. Believe that, if you'd like to say.
I think that's true. I do think that's true. So I think over the years, mid laners have gotten a lot better at playing in general. I remember speaking with Gunnar about Lina versus TA back when there were like no changes and TA was considered to be like somewhat of a Lina counter, but then just it progressed with no patches so that Lina countered TA. And I remember him telling me something along the lines of like, you buy an extra fairy fire, something like that. Like you literally just need that little bit of extra damage, something like that specific. And I think the mid lane has been optimized to that point. And then on top of that, the runes also really help Lina. Like she abuses the runes. Worst case scenario, she hits you, just pushes the wave, and then
because you were actually making the same argument at a point where we were starting to say that Ember Spirit actually beats Monkey in the lane. And you were saying that exact thing, that it was because of the optimization of Ember Spirit and the armor.
Did I say that? That sounds smart. I don't think I said that.
You did actually. It was on the TIB broadcast last year when you did with
Oh, all right. Yeah, no, that's another one of those matchups. I mean, I'm not mid laner. I'm terrible, but they've figured it out. They've optimized it. I think the big thing with the Ember matchup was that they would push out the first wave with Flengard and like take the hits from Monkey King, but to then just choose to push it. And that sounds so simple now, but like back then it wasn't. That like wasn't the thing to do.
Effie, when we look at the T1 draft now, Monkey King line, what are the strengths in this opener?
So this opener is incredibly versatile just from day one. We've seen it succeed as a carry, and we've seen it succeed as a support, right? But vision has been so important throughout this tournament in that we've seen Beastmaster, who typically hasn't performed that well, excel in certain games where they've been able to be able to just by scouting the backlines and choke points or Roche just give so much control to heroes who like to hit from a distance. So we can see it paired up with something that's kind of long range, like Alina in particular, but things like that. Or maybe a hero like Shaker who needs to set up for some kind of jump.
Let's get on mine.
And the Lion, he ticks a lot of boxes, right? He just gives you the hard disable that you don't need to worry about in your draft, but he's also a bit of a deny type because then you're more concerned about picking the spirits who are incredibly popular in mid laners.
So, now we're seeing Vichy Gaming's draft. We have the opener back again to being safe. The Weaver Lina, very
Yung design.
How would you follow this? What is it
Character
going to
niya.
do?
I think they need some setups done.
Yeah.
That's pretty important. Lina, you know, the Yules build is something you just like never see anymore. So, you
Baka
know,
may
Monkey
gold na
King,
nakalagay.
obviously it's picked on the other side. That's
May
a
gold
decent-
na
okay, that's all
nakalagay.
right. So you
Yun,
can
no?
like have the Elder Titan
Bakit,
sitting in a
bakit
side
may
lane.
gold na
You know,
nakalagay?
he's obviously gonna throw the spirit out. Occasionally,
Huh?
maybe try to sleep you, and then like one of these
Eh,
times
di bakit
that you get
yung
slept,
isa
Lina shows up
walang
and kills you.
gold?
So it's nice to have a few heroes to play around. I remember when Lina was being picked as a 4, some of the best teams would pick it where they would have a mid laner that could set up and then a side laner who could set up too. So they'd have like a DK and then Lifestealer back when he had the slow. And that was how they would combo, where like Lina could go to either lane and get a kill. And now I think the same thing works for the mid lane. You see rotate from mid.
But now also just consider all the damage amp that this Lina is going to get. I really hope it's just a core Lina. There's no way that it isn't at this point, but Elder Titan, his aura removes armor and it increases magic damage, right? So Lina, a core with mixed damage who does insane physical damage but also magical damage, these kinds of cores like Luna and Lina benefit so greatly from having an Elder Titan on their team. And paired up with Void, this is, you know, a tested combination. You just are splitter into opponent's spirit and you throw out your spirit and it just buffs everything that goes on. It's looking pretty solid in terms of damage.
Minus armor on the Weaver bugs too, and that's like nothing to scoff at for sure. Like I really like this Vichy draft so far. It seems like easy to execute. There's a lot of combinations that they have. They do damage. They have team fight. Like it really does tick all of the boxes. I hate to, you know, repeat,
right.
it's like all of the boxes are totally ticked.
So they do pick DK, and DK is a durable type of hero who also just provides the tower damage that they didn't have going for them in the draft so far. But thing is, like, we were talking about all of this damage coming out of Vici. Dragon Knight's gonna get shredded. They're not gonna have issues dealing with him later on in the game. So now T1 have to play for a bit of a timing where they can kind of push behind this Dragon Knight before he just dies. Because Lena is typically a hero that loves to build Slowbridge too. That's usually her third item after BOTs and BKB. So I'm not sure why they liked this DK so much here, but I guess they really did need to fill that gap. And now they have 4 stuns, which is nothing to stop
Yeah,
that.
that's always good. The more stuns, the easier it is to play.
And very reliable as well. Like Hex, Dragon Tail,
Yeah.
even Fissure. Echo Slam is one of the few 0-cost point stuns in the game, so
Yeah.
it's not hard to be able to stop any initiation.
I think we actually saw T1 playing versus LGD, I believe, and they picked Dragon Knight mid, and it was the only time that we saw Lena lose mid was to Dragon Knight. So maybe that's the thing. It's like, this is the only hero that deals with Lena.
There could be an idea here as well, because Elder Titan removes base armor, but that's not how Dragon Knight's armor works.
True.
It's
So,
it's
yeah. So it's actually kind of, it counteracts CT's armor.
Yeah.
Is DK a call hero though? Is it the kind of hero you expect him on? Because it is similar to Doom in a sense.
You know what? This is gonna be maybe a stupid prediction, but I feel like Carl might actually go for a Midas because I remember him doing this at the Animajor, and I know that is the last thing that like Dragon Knights. I mean, people aren't even playing Dragon Knight, but that's the last thing that Dragon Knights have been doing prior to this patch. And like Blink Dagger into Midas maybe even just because like I remember Carl distinctly doing that, and like that is just what T1 loves to do.
But you know, I was actually thinking that would be a pretty nice pick because when you have 4 stuns, you need some kind of cleanse or something like that, which is what LC would have provided. But now that that's not available in the pool, it would just, they need some kind of blink initiator on BG, some kind of follow. Because typically Void can go in for you, but he works best when there's someone to kind of draw attention to themselves, so he can set up for a good card spray.
Yeah, like a spirit. If we didn't think the Selena was going mid, I'd say like Ember Spirit or something like that.
Does Doom work? They are true. I know that's one of the only ones I've seen.
That is a mistake.
Oh no, Beastmaster. It's been a while since we've seen Beastmaster go 11.
This is a good VG draft. I really like this draft.
Okay, why?
There's a lot. I mean, they've got tons of stuns. They've got tons of setup for the Lena. Like if this Lena goes to any of the lanes with the Beastmaster board to set up for her, you have the Faceless Void Chronosphere to set up both of the supports, amplify the Lena's damage. You have the Snowball from the Helm Dom creep on Beastmaster. It's like there's so many ways that VG could win this game.
Yeah, and to add on to that, when we were talking about Monkey King earlier and how his ability to provide vision is so good for a hero like Lena who just likes to sit far back and hit things, now you have the Hawk to scout out the Monkey King in the trees, and you have Elder Titan Spirit just running around. So not only do they have the superior vision, but they just have the damage to deal with the durability of T1's heroes.
So what does T1 need to, what hole do they need to fill in this last?
I could see them picking a Morphling. I mean, well, okay, I guess against ET it's not so good. They need something that lanes decently against. Yeah. Phantom Lancer doesn't seem that bad. But then again, you could go for like the Axis build on Beastmaster. You're an Agi hero against ET.
Dawnbreaker.
Okay.
So is this a Monkey King?
Okay, 23 Monkey King. Maybe that's not so crazy.
Yeah, of course, that's what I was assuming.
Yeah. I thought it was gonna be a Dawnbreaker carry.
You thought it was running in K2, right?
Yeah, of course. I'm a professional here.
So Dawn Ads could actually be incredibly good in this game if Zephyr manages to get it because of the added evasion and the added healing, but it can heal through Chrono and through Roar pretty well. So if that's the idea that they were going for here, some kind of save but also a strong laner, I think Dawn fits the build pretty well. I like V2's draft.
So to add this point, in case you don't get this, when you deal with Chrono, it needs a strong ultimate, you have 2 options. Phantom Lancer, for example, it just eludes it or it avoids it, or alternatively you mitigate it. And Dawnbreaker is trying to mitigate it into the Chrono. Right?
True, of course, yes, of course. Dawnbreaker is very good against Faceless Void. Although you don't stun when you ult into the Chrono, which is a bit annoying.
Well, we're gonna go now with the coach interviews. We have Vichi's coach on the sidelines, and Frankie is ready to ask some questions.
Indeed, we've got Fenrir here and we've got Helen to translate as well. And Fenrir, I have one question for you. How important was it for you to secure Lina for Ori's mid lane this time? And was it also very important to deny Carl from having her?
只有一个问题，对你来说抢 Ori 的 Lina 有多重要？同时，把对面 Carl 的 Lina 抢了，也会不会很重要？
怎么说呢？可能第一盘他的丽娜确实打得还可以吧，但是主要第一盘失利的问题，我觉得是我们对线犯了比较大的失误吧，跟丽娜没有关系。
Well, how do I say? I feel like in game one, his Lina was decent. However, I feel like why we lost game one was due to our lanes not going so well. It's not really about the Lina.
But very quickly then, is Ori's Lina better?
所以有个问题 ，Ori 的 Lina 会不会比他的更厉害
nothing.
那是肯定的。
？That's for sure.
And you know what for sure? That this game is underway, so we're going to head over to Syndra and Sunsman right now.
Thank you very much, Frankie.
Konstantin
Vici Gaming versus T1 Game 2 of the best of 3. Vici Gaming, of course, have to win to stay alive. If T1 wins, they face off against. They get the pleasure of facing against IG, who's the top of their group, coming into the main event. Your thoughts, Cinderin?
I think I really like both drafts. This game just in isolation. Like when I look at both strategies, it's very clear what they're trying to go for. You've got the T1 strategy with some good team fight between the Monkey King and Shaker with some reliable setup from Lion and Dragon Knight. Dawnbreaker following up is amazing on all of these stuns like we've talked about before. Basically has 4 good friends in this game that just have stuns that help you get into the fight. Yeah. You look over at Vici Gaming's lineup, they have the nutty team fight combo of Void plus Elder Titan. And I think Lina is one of the best mid heroes to play together with Void this patch. You have insane overwhelming damage in the Chronosphere of 2 damage types. You have the position 4 Weaver that's going to probably get a save against these single target stuns from T1. And then overload on a Beastmaster high pressure hero that can get them ahead, get them vision. So really think this will be a closer game than game 1. Even though, Vici Gaming kind of pulled it back and made it competitive. I think this one we won't see like a 15k gold lead minute 30 for either team.
Unless Carl. I don't think the DK versus Lina matchup, you might end up even if you're really good, but...
I do want to talk about this. It's good that you mentioned this, because we had another game this tournament with this exact matchup where it was Carl's Lina against nothing to say on Dragon Knight, and nothing to say won the lane. So I think that is the only hero this tournament I have seen Lina lose to a single time in that mid lane in the first 5 minutes. So gotta keep my eyes on this to see if it's a consistent thing or if nothing to say is just trying to do it.
Might have just been an anomaly, but yeah, we'll have to see it after. Still a small sample set with 2 games, but either way. This is something I do want to mention now because I'm just really interested, as you really know, Cinderin. The idea of Dawnbreaker against Faceless Void. Do you go for, do you prioritize Ags this game? Because of the evasion, the extra HP regen that you get, you just have to not be chronoed yourself.
Yeah, so this is why Ags and Dawn is so beautiful against Void, is the problem that you face a lot of the time is when Void uses Chronosphere, if you ulti right away for the save, you end up, the hero physically comes from high up in the sky and falls down, but if there's a Chronosphere there, you get stuck at the top of the Chronosphere and your stun never lands.
Yeah.
So, but if you have Ags, the channel time is so long, you can just sustain it through the entire chrono, effectively giving, like you said, the 60% evasion and the healing. So yeah, absolutely, I think it would be an awesome choice this game. It would also kind of force both Ori as well as Boyo to get MKBs if they won't even kill in the chrono. So yeah, I think from my perspective, Zephyr should actually rush it. You shouldn't get a mech this game. It's just straight Ags. It's that good, yeah.
First item.
I would love to see it. Optional locket, maybe, but yeah, I think the Agnes is just that good here.
Very cool. See Carl versus Ori, as we were talking about, pretty even. 6 denies though for Ori. That's going to give him the level advantage for now, but to be expected between this particular matchup. Old 11's going to be playing the Beastmaster this time. I'm going to see a ton of Beastmaster on him this turn. It feels like that hero has tapered off a bit with the nerfs to Combo the Dom. Combo the Overlord specifically. What are your thoughts on this choice this time?
I think it's good. It fits well with their lineup, like the panel was talking about. Getting the vision advantage for your heroes is extremely powerful. And, as far as Old 11 goes, he can sometimes be a feast or famine kind of player. I think this is the kind of hero that Old 11 can take charge on and get a lot of stuff done. Push towers, initiate fights for his team. His Mars in the last game was given, I think, a pretty bad hand. Like, there was a hard lane, was playing against Razor, and overall their lanes just went horribly. So this is a different approach, and I think it's going to work very well there.
Whitemon going to get the swarm applied to him, but the Earth Spike with the Hex and the Dust. PYW looks like he'll live. That takes heavy punish just for existing as a disgusting bug. Sorry, I just really looked at it. So LSA is going to connect on the Carl. Ori. And once the rotations come, and Carl is still at this low HP, that's going to end up being an easy kill.
Okay, nothing to say, it's just that good, confirmed.
Yeah, I think so.
Ori is very far ahead of Carl this game.
It's not as bad as last game, though. The reverse is PYW gets caught up by that fissure. Cuckoo, a nice enchant totem, trying to turn this around, but it looks like, oh, one more right click will do, but they can't reach him. Poyoyo will turn his sights to Whitemon instead. Swarm comes through, he's going to connect on Whitemon, and he's going to tick down to those beetles. Cuckoo just barely survived as well, so first blood goes the way of Vici Gaming this time.
Could you imagine that? What a way to go out. You hit some power and back, and you didn't die there, and then you get killed by a little scarab.
Yeah.
Man, those scarabs have to be really nasty. That is...
Have you seen the mummy? Why am I asking? And Carl getting chased by DY. Will be fine though. And it's just one of these mid heroes that I find interesting because a lot of these players that play mid are very mechanically skilled, and DK is like, you blink, you get a blink dagger, you blink, you initiate. You're almost like an offlaner where you just get kind of expedited levels.
Really high pressure here mid from Ori again. Carl will sustain, but will struggle to even use his soul ring to use mana right now without dying. Just keep getting him. He's laying into him there.
Living on the edge right now, which you kind of have to do if you want to get this XP. You can see Ori. Another LSA connects, and he's about to hit level 6 here in a couple.
11 is in trouble top as well. This is a
lane. 22 Savage has the Jingu.
Pretty tough position to be in.
The favorable trade. Stumbreaker not going to fully connect. 23 Savage and company just forcing them out of lane at the very least. Bottom lane and then bottom lane. Yo-Yo gets the bash. Cuckoo continue to get chased and harassed by PYW. They're going to jump in with one more time walk, and the right click from PYW is enough to secure yet another kill for Vici Gaming.
Dilation is so good against Shaper lane. He will always need to use Enchant Totem to farm, and that means if he has used the Fissure and you dilate after, you have such a long time where you can just run him down. Very quick work of him there with these two heroes. You know, this is a Faceless Void Weaver lane. It's not exactly a traditional lane, but they are winning. Yeah. This bot lane as well. So this time around, Vici Gaming, totally different situation. And as we talked about, if they just don't get crushed, like that's our game, they'll be fine. Oh, well,
that's Dragon Slaying. Oh, 50-50 Cinderin. Eternal Envy would be proud. Ori is going to spot out Zephyr now as the hammer will come back from whence it came. Looks like Whitemon takes a tumble in the bot lane, though. As Ori looks to be fine. Still has Laguna Blade to work with, but no mana to speak of. Did not able to secure the rune this time around. But a lot of pressure to this tower. I mean, 3 heroes here with the catapult as well.
And let's see how Carl does when he's playing from behind. I feel like it's been a while since that's been the case, that Carl lost his lane this hard. Even in the game when he was Lina against Nothing to Say's Dragon Knight, I think Carl was still having better conditions than this. Dragon Knight, in my experience, doesn't perform very well from behind like this. Yeah. You really need some key stuff. You need boots, you need arguably upgraded boots into dagger.
Chronosphere in the bot lane with the swarm from PYW. Cuckoo looks to be super dead. The question is who's going to get credit? It is the Beetle.
He's going to get earn charges as well here, so going to drop one on Puyo immediately. Too.
Oh, 23 Savage. Ori's in the vicinity. Oh, alright. Good jump here from 23 Savage. Good instincts. Gets salved.
He's still not safe, though. Okay, now he is. Ori's showing.
They're going to push with Beastmaster Hawk giving some vision here. Catapult doing some damage as well, but it looks like it will be mitigated here.
I have no clue. So they can't keep it alive until the wave connects. They will respect the potential play of T1 there.
Carl just trying to catch up. I mean, that's the one good thing about this rotation from T1's perspective is Lina wastes a little bit of time in that top lane, which means Carl can apply some pressure to Tier 1 power, which is obviously Dragon Knight's prerogative as a hero in general. Yo-Yo in the bot lane, 38 and 12 for CS. And you can See 23 Savage just a little bit ahead with 42 and 11 on the top. Well, Echo Stomp will connect onto Carl. It's going to set up the LSA, but a nice counter stump from Whitemon. They try to turn this around as Carl gets some save from Zephyr. Gets off the start break, and that's a big kill onto Ori. T1 finally on the board for game number 2.
Yeah, they brought a lot of heroes to ensure this kill, but it's big. And Carl loves to get that help, and it allows him to also start laying into the mid-tier 1 tower a little bit here. He needs to push out this wave ASAP if he wants to get more attacks in. Is working on it with the Breathe Fire. And I think we'll be able to at least get one more swing in here before Lina comes back, so that will be another nice amount of damage here. That Corrosive Breath.
Good ability.
Yep, that's very strong.
As it scales with each level of the ultimate Cinder. Trivia for people that have never played Dota before. 23 Savage. It's not on the same level as your trivia.
Nothing is, though.
That's true. Zephyr trying to stop this push in the top lane to see if he can come in. There's the Boundless Strike. Starbreaker does connect successfully into the Echo Slave. Ori's dead again! And now the Earth Spike to follow is T1. Great defense in the top lane. This is 2 early deaths now on Ori, despite getting off to a really good start.
Excellent spellcasting. We used the Boundless Strike. Okay, that was not excellent spellcasting. Zephyr throwing
It happens.
That was on purpose. He was just griefing him before going back to base. Even on TI main stage, you know, at least what Jerax used to do was to ask before he griefed. Zephyr just doesn't. But yeah, great defense. They get the Boundless Strike into the Starbreaker, and that allows for them to just barely connect with the Echo Slam. So very well done by T1 and on just delaying their stuns perfectly to get that kill. And we're 10 minutes in. Yeah, it's time for trivia. What is the square root of the sum of the cooldown of Roshan's abilities?
All right, that's a stupid question. Next.
It's a whole number.
Say it again.
What is the square root of the total cooldown of Roshan's abilities?
2.
That is very,
4,
very bad.
8, 12.
One
They're dying, cast the fight, Carl! Looks like there's going to be a trade. Sundern is trying to sabotage this cast. As you can see, the face of the boy dies. What is wrong with you? This is TI-10 main stage, for God's sake.
Yeah, we get to have a good time, though. That's important.
True.
The correct answer is 5.
Very not. That's the least interesting one. You know what? You're banned for 10 minutes from another trivia. That was terrible.
That's pretty good. I would probably wait 10 minutes anyway.
Okay.
I'll take it.
But that's a pretty big kill. Yeah, but you're young.
They traded support for getting the Void, so now both big cores on the Radiant side have died. Lina twice, Void once.
And neither of which have a kill, actually, which is actually more surprising on Ori, with only 1 assist. So, taking for only 1 kill overall this game. Whitemon, oh, he's going to run into a lot of heroes, but looks like he's more than fine. He's ever going to chase them out here. Starbreaker actually does connect with the finger up death from Whitemon. All right.
Such a satisfying spell.
I mean, getting a kill in general is satisfying, so if there's flashy particles and a nice
There's something about Finger of Death.
You say that about every spell.
No, I don't. I say it about Finger of Death.
You said it last game about something else. It's Boundless Strike.
That's Boundless Strike with Jingu. I mean, you can't argue against it.
I'm not.
That is
arguing.
really
I'm just saying.
You know, it's also really
Easy
satisfying. Trivia in 10 minutes.
Oh boy.
But not bad.
Carl. Need more damage with that Corrosive Breath, which will cause
Gets denied.
Yoyo to deny the tower.
So at the very least, for Vici Gaming, they denied that. But again, given Carl's start, getting this mid-tower minute at 11:30 is honestly pretty good. You know, he was pressured a lot, lost the lane to Lina, the gank as well. But Carl still hasn't died in this lane. This one is so unfortunate. The Collision Rune will go away of the Dragon Knight. Just keep in mind, these solutions also have Corrosive Breath, so if Carl wants to, he can kind of do a little bit of a rotation move there. I believe at least they have the full Corrosive Breath, so he could send them to...
I actually don't remember. Do they stay in dragon form when he turns back?
Yes.
You sure about that?
Yeah, that's the reason you're in a
Terribly
is terribly. That's because this is an aura.
Yeah.
So they should stay in dragon form. And I do believe I just saw. Okay, they don't.
Trivia: do they turn back to human or not?
I could promise you they used to.
Yeah, well, you're a freaking boomer.
It's all dragon form. It's just visual. They're attacking.
Oh, you're right.
Go to dragon form.
Okay. Damn it.
I told
But
you.
technically, I'm right. They are human form. They're just attacking in range form now. So we're kind of both. I mean, technically, I am the right one based on that. So human form in visual aspect only.
I don't really want to give you this one. I don't feel like you're right.
Echo stop. Oh, all right. Mischief not able to dodge that. It's not going to turn into any fight yet. So Vici Gaming, they have some crazy team fights. I haven't really talked about this much, but the Chronosphere into the Earth Splitter as Cuckoo jumps in with that Blink Dagger and Enchant Totem. Here comes Zephyr as well. Starbreaker should cancel that Echo Stomp and ends up being a freebie for T1. But yeah, a lot of setup, or not a lot of setup, but a lot of chrono damage. And then once Weaver, Mr. PYW, I would assume goes for Ags next. If he's on the outside, you can. I mean, there's just so many options for Vici going forward. I really like the lineup.
It's pretty crazy, by the way. Carl is second on Netflix now.
He's made a
Fully
comeback.
recovered, yeah.
I mean, part of it is because of the deaths on Lena have set her back a bit.
For sure. And the big breadwinner currently is, of course, 23 Savage on the Monkey King. No big surprise there. It's a good lane for him against the double melee hero.
Zephyr. 22 Savage is in the area though, so looks to be fine. Poyoyo on the Faceless Void has the Orb of Corrosion, excuse me.
The other end doesn't exist
Midas.
anymore.
The Orb of Destruction was deleted, in fact.
PYW
might be in some trouble.
He got that
Tree is for the other side. Oh, the time lapse, but right back into the arms of T1. So another finger charge for Whitemon as Earthsplitter actually coming in. Gonna connect on Cuckoo, trying to kill this annoying Wild Wing Ripper before his untimely death, I would assume, but 23 Savage has other plans. He gets off his hook with the Boundless Strike. Roar is there to keep them at bay, though, but it's going to be a second kill in favor of T1. And despite having that Roar, looks like this is going to be the death of Beastmaster as well. But here comes Koyoyo. He gets a big Chronosphere. Not that much follow-up, though. They're going to find one kill onto the Earthshaker. Is Ori being pursued by the Monkey. 23 Savage. As the Boundless Strike connects Whitemon in the vicinity, this is going to be another kill onto Ori. Just such a rough game for him after that really good start.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll get to why I'm laughing so hard right now. Let's see if he gets out.
Looks fine. Alright, tell me why you're laughing, Cinder.
Alright, so Carl blinks in for the follow-up, but they're on the Lena, and he shoots his brief fire like 500 range away. Misses it completely, plays the set.
Nice. At least it's a good effort, though.
Yeah, he's clearly having a laugh at it. Fortunately for them, it didn't really matter, but that was funny. Oh my goodness. Oh, it does happen. Misclicks happen even at the highest level, so it's a good thing that he could just laugh it off and continue on with the game. But yeah, another good overall sequence here for T1. And I was gonna say, Weaver with this vessel, you would imagine that, depending on when you get this item, it can have like varying degrees of importance, right? You're playing against both Dawnbreaker, Monkey King, and Dragon Knight, and you got it early on your Weaver, so you really want PYW to be involved in kills. It helps so much until they start getting the BKBs on DK and Monkey. Unfortunately for him, though, he was the start of that fight. He got killed first as, they found out DY. Yeah, it's toast.
Tons of stuns. Disabled for an eternity, so another death for DY. So T1 kind of withstanding the, I want to say, the very early laning stage, and they're bounced back to a very high degree now. 23 Savage is top of the net worth, as we see a replay. This is what you were talking about.
I like that in this highlight. We're all just looking for the
see that brief fire. There he is. All right.
It happens.
I mean, if you make an SFM on this and just change the angle, it ends up looking really epic, I'm sure.
Yeah. Make sure you play the sad trombone in your video. Sure, it happens. Alright, next move. I think it's time to reach a game soon to get something done here. By the way, on Chronosphere cooldown.
You were right. Zephyr is going for the Agnum Scepter straight up.
Nice.
He's halfway there already.
It's a great choice.
I mean, the cool thing about this hero is the support. I mean, we've talked about the lane pushing and all of that, but the fact that she can actually farm without really needing much, just a hammer alone, allows you to take out waves. Very tanky to boot. YW. Looks like he's. Is he actually working on
Connecting
Axe
top
himself?
here.
Yeah.
They're looking for another kill on POW. They might get it with Dragon Tail.
Yeah, Dragon Tail initiation. Zephyr with the Starbreaker. They put vision down a little bit late, so P1W is going to take a brief fire in the trees. But won't be pursued any further. Yeah, Carl's going to get roared. Laguna Blade to follow. But here comes the Solar Guardian. That's going to heal up to a decent amount. Ori just can't finish the kill quite yet. Carl getting pursued by PYW. One more right click should do it. Oh, he's in.
Buhay pa si Carl.
Actually catches his teammate. First spin of the ball.
Buhay pa si Carl.
Stop onto basically everybody here, but 2 down already for Vici Gaming. So advantage for T1. 23 Savage gets off the Wukong's demands, trying to pursue a little bit further.
Ina si Carl, buhay pa. Putang ina mo si Carl.
With everybody.
Ayun, si Carl buhay
Now trying to go for Puyoyo. Do they have the setup? Boundless strike to start. The time walk to
si
safety.
Carl.
I actually cannot believe Carl lived. That was
Got a
the
step for damage taken in that fight for Dragon Knight. That was crazy. He took so much damage for his team, and they don't get the kill. The thing is, not. But you know, he doesn't plan to kill, then he baits Elder Titan, doesn't plan to kill, and Michigan just end up spending the entire time just desperately trying to at least get the kill they wanted to begin with. Solar Guardian coming in clutch there for sure.
Yeah, that
Zephyr changed everything.
And imagine when that gets buffed.
And imagine that they have one vessel charge. That's what I mean, right?
Sure.
They just don't have it for that kill on PYW, so they don't get it. And it snowballs the whole fight. With one vessel charge there, he gets the kill, gets another charge, they can go on to the next hero and keep that fight going. But you know, just not able to. T1 clutch with the saves.
So T1 rocking a 2K network lead. Not quite as big a lead as you would think, considering the 14-6 kill advantage right now. And of course, Puyoyo, we brought this up, but has had that Anamitis for a while, so we'll see if that ends up paying dividends. Still working on the BKB though.
Yeah.
About 800 away from finishing that bad boy.
It's found a Quicksilver Amulet. Nice item on Void. You get that quick swing timer for an early bash, which helps you get bash ready again faster.
So double BKB just picked up by T1, so
It's big.
2 cores now.
And it's close to Dragon Knight too. Only 600 to go for him as well. 700, pardon me. Took your math class last week. Didn't help.
Making fun of the American education system as Laguna Blade used to destroy Zephyr, who, again, still, I mean, they're actually, once they get these 3 BKBs up, they're only 800 away from that Ags on Dawnbreaker. That feels like a very big power swing.
It is a really big item. Roche is opened up here for Vici Gaming with 25 seconds on Dawn. They do have Swarm level 4, which is really, really good for killing Roche. PYW is just going to tank Roche so the bug doesn't. Here comes Puyoyo, so
T1 though,
are aware.
they have Echo. I got this disgusting Echo slam.
Smoke breaks.
Yep, Cuckoo in the vicinity. His blink gets canceled, but there's Carl with the initiation to start things out. Gets the Dragon Tail off, but Roshan looks like it's going to be taken out easily for Vici Gaming. They will lose the Elder Titan in tow, but there's the LSA actually catching the Earthshaker, so Cuckoo not really able to get off the initiation he was looking for.
Very good for Vici. They didn't have to use Chrono to secure the Roche either, so it means there's another play opening up for Puyoyo. He's gonna get enough gold for his BKB with that bounty rune picked up from Ori. So next move is on the horizon. Something else on the horizon. We're now past minute 20, so it's time for trivia.
Okay, I should have said 20 minutes.
You're gonna like this one, okay? What is the passive aura of Ring of Aquila called?
Is that in? Is somebody equipping that item right now?
They took it off.
The passive aura. I have no idea.
Give me your best.
Ring of Basilius aura. That's what I'm calling.
Aquila aura.
Oh my god, that was actually not that bad. Not that far away. I get half a point for that?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you got aura right, but it's an aura, so I don't know if that counts.
That's half. Technically.
It's like,
You know how you feel about that?
ice cream is this, and then you say licorice ice cream, but it was orange ice cream, and you're like, I was close, I got ice cream right? I mean, come on, of course it's ice cream.
It's still true though. Carl?
Oh,
And the Echo Slam come out with the BKBs activate. Can they pull up? Faceless Void, absolutely. Earth Splitter does a little bit of damage there, but a big kill on Puyoyo by 23 Savage, who's still top of the net worth right now.
Very swift kill, and of course they do find the core on Vici Gaming that does not have the Aegis in that void, so would not have gone for that play onto Ori with Shaker, I'm sure. They do find Yo, so very nice here. Gonna delay that timing of the Aegis. There's still 3 minutes 20 left for Vici Gaming to try to use this Aegis to get mid-tier 1. I still think that's what you really want to try to grab with this, but unfortunately for Vici Gaming, struggling a little bit to get in, right? Like that's the problem. There's no dagger on Old 11. Your cache is pretty limited without it. Void can commit a time walk into chrono attempt.
But they have the helm of the Overlord Center. Old 11, he's got the big, juicy golem. No, it's the golem.
They used to have a dragon.
Now it's a golem.
It died.
Yeah, this guy uppercuts like none other in the game. One of the best animations, in fact. Absolutely love this guy. So you see...
I wonder if his eyes glow in the dark.
That's a very random question.
They probably do, actually.
Okay, good to know.
Trivia.
Ori has the invisibility rune here. 23 Savage in the area with Wukong's command available, but of course they don't have Echo Slam, so this will be a little bit of difficult hold. But 23 Savage does use the Wukong's command. Gets working inside his BKB group. You can see Kuko coming, just focusing on Ori. That is the Aegis down. UIW looking for potential Echo Stop here, but there's a jump in, a quick BKB by Ori, trying to turn it around. Kukuda play takes off the head of Lion as Carl now trying to retreat, but there is the Chronosphere and the counteract from that Solar Guardian. I believe it is the Echo Slam Solar Guardian. So the Agam Scepter, I should say, the evasion comes through. It's 23 Savage. Getting pursued now, completely surrounded. It's going to end up being an easy kill. Surprisingly enough for Vici as they continue to try to take T1 out. Echo Stop onto 2. Now onto the high ground, they will attempt this as that Ogre is still beating the crap out of the Dragon.
It is a golem.
What did I say?
Ogre.
Ogre Golem.
I'll give it.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
Crazy fight. Like, what's really important in this for Vici Gaming is 2 things. First of all, the amount of spells that T1 needs to use to get the Aegis in the first place. They use Monkey King's Bolt, which ends up expiring. So they just run out of damage on T1. They really need this Wukong's command to continue that fight. Echo Slam was not available, I think, for Kuko, or at least didn't find a good one. And they were hoping to instantly hex Ori out of the Aegis. He probably could be faster than they could hex. Lion dies instantly. You have a Dragon Knight out of position who's trying to Dragon Tail Relina, so effectively, you just put yourselves in a really bad position when your spells were down. And in hindsight, it's easy for us to say, just take your Aegis kill, be happy with it, back off and lose the tower. But that was not going to work with the way T1 set that up, and they got punished for it pretty hard.
And keep in mind, they didn't have the Echo Slam still, so just came back off cooldown. They used it earlier to get prior to that. But you can see the confidence from T1. Not having a big ultimate like that, still feeling like they can take him out, but the quick fingers from Ori.
And you did see the impact of Solar Guardian in that fight, by the way. He used it on the Chrono Dragon Knight, who took no damage from Void. Yep. He was actually healing while Dragon Knight, or while Void was attacking him. Just nothing coming out from Koyoyo onto that DK. So if things are set up a little bit better for T1, you're going to see that Solar Guardian play a really big role.
Top of the network, though, after dying a couple times, Cinderin, Ori doing very well now. His score doesn't look that great, 3-4-3, but considering he started at 0-2 and 1,
yep,
it's definitely bounced back. Going for the MKB, which went Chrysalis first, so I'd assume as the Shadow Blade or the Silver Edge was planned, but switching it up now.
Yeah, he has to solve this Solar Guardian problem. As we talked about, both Lina and Void will likely be going that route, and they do indeed. Void is going to finish Sanj and Yasha, and then he's got it planned as well here for Yo. So, you know, you can look at this from 2 perspectives. You can say glass half full, glass half empty. It's like, yeah, when they both get MKBs, how good is my axe? But the other way of looking at it is, wow, I get 2 cores by MKB, right? Yeah. So I feel like that, like MKB is 200 gold. It's not like it's bad. It's not a bad item, but it's not what they want, right? It's not the standard build that these 2 heroes will go for. They're doing it out of necessity here, not because they really want to. Right? So you force their hand with 1 support item, which is pretty nice for T1.
Vici Gaming sporting the 3K network lead. Now this game is super close, and again, just to reiterate the implications, if Vici loses this, they are out. And T1 wins. IG is their next opponent. That is technically correct, Sandra. Thanks.
And what do we say to that? Technically correct is
the best kind of correct.
Thank you.
I'm paying attention. It's very nice. I feel like you're a puppet.
I asked you earlier today, and you said terrible. And I was like,
because I'm sick of interacting with you. just sick of your shits and
Understandable. Have a nice day.
Zephyr in the trees. He's being spotted out right now. Old 11. They're just trying to ensure that they will find this kill. They have to expend the roar, but it's going to be an easy one.
Yeah. No problem here.
It's like, hey, Koyoyo, would you like a kill by any chance?
Don't mind if I do. And yeah, the roar is a relatively low commitment spell, right? It's 80-second cooldown on level 2 here for old 11. So they just want to use that whenever they can to get a pick. And this is a very reliable place to find Dawn, by the way. Like we talked about the last couple of Dawnbreaker games with Cass. This hero will often gravitate to the top area on Dire to just push out that lane while the team plays together as Sword. And you want to connect with them with Solar Guardian. So old 11 can keep sending Hawks up here in the tree line and very high chance of finding that Dawn. UIW with the axe completed has found a psychic headband as well, so good cast range.
Yeah, that's
on that. So it's 700 instead of 600.
Yeah, so time lapse can be used on allies with a very low cooldown of I believe 20 seconds.
Yep.
The extra cast range now to follow. So this is, I mean, I feel like we talked this item up so much, and then in the games, at least the ones we've passed, it has been basically a non-factor. But theoretically speaking, it is super strong.
I feel like even in the games that... So we had one game where the LGD found this amazing chrono with Ame, right? Where Weaver couldn't reach.
Yeah.
But in the Secret versus... Who was it?
There was one
Secret Elephant, that marathon game, where the Weaver Axe did so much work for Elephant. They did lose though, but it was super impactful in that game. UIW. Sliding off to the side here. If 23 Savage were to get eyes on him, this could be trouble, but he's going to TP out Recruit Shit.
23 Savage continuing to farm up. So, any items of note center that we should be looking forward to? I mean, old 11, we already talked about the Helmet of the Overlord and the Blink Dagger, of course. Looks like Refresher. I mean, not a
barely support that with his mana, to be honest, but it might just work out.
Oh, we got the Dragon Tail to start things out on the PYW. There's the first damage indeed. UIW with another death to his name and another charge for
everyone fighting this T1, because anyone else could get saved by Weaver at any point. And your single target burst on T1 can kill one hero one time. That's basically the limit, right? Your Finger of Death, Dragon Tail, Boundless Strike, and maybe a Fissure. If the target gets time lapse, you can't do it all over again with the lineup that you have. So very important, if possible, to get on top of that weave. Ori is.
It's an action light on. He's actually going to leap for 23 Savage, and that is another death now for Ori. Very important. Cuckoo. So cocky. Echo Slam BKB.
I mean, from our perspective, obviously this looks crazy, right? He doesn't have the exact vision that would allow him. I mean, let's take a look on there again, right? So they do have an observer ward in the Radiant, but they only have the one that oversees the river, not the enemy side of the river. So Ori just, how to say, he gets a false feeling of safety there from the ward. If he didn't have the ward, I don't think he would have gone for the rune. Right. So the ward actually working against him here and giving him that safety feeling that wasn't there, and T1 punished very quickly with the Blink Lion, did a huge kill.
This is still scary. I mean, 30 seconds death timer for Lina, but you're going against Chronosphere, you're going against Elder Titan, quite possibly top 3 Roche defenders in the game.
Yeah. And you go against Void ET.
I just said that. Yep, they're against Void ET.
We didn't say they gave up.
Okay, true. Old 11 just biding his time here. Can obviously gain so much vision with these Hawks. He does have the Shard as well, by the way, which reduces the cooldown of the Hawk and gives you the, what is the actual ability called? Dive Bomb for the suicide mission for those Hawks.
That is an awesome skill. I like that one.
Yep, I agree. We now have a smoke from Vici. So Carl did finish his AC, so very, very tanky.
Okay. Ori just walks into the pit and looks around the pit and walks out.
Nobody here.
Like he saw Roshan for the first time. Nope.
Yeah. Both teams very cautious right now, for good reason. This game, obviously, a fairly big deal. Echo Stomp from afar, Koyoyo. He's going to get Dragon Tail to start things out, but Carl looks like he might be regretting his decision, just waddling away right now. Time dilation on top of him. Has to pop his ult along with the BKB. Trying to turn this around onto the Void. They get him to about half HP, but it doesn't look like they can actually to finish off Koyoyo.
They're worried about committing because they don't see QIW, so they don't want to throw spells into the air and get no value. They need some insane burst catch there to kill him before the Weaver can react, and they don't have it.
I like this. They need to fight now. They've already caught the Dragon Form and his BKB.
Elder Titan is going to see them though. Astral Spirit. If he is paying attention, it's the feedback there.
Ori showing himself. Oh, the initial. Oh, they actually missed the stun there from Cuckoo. They'll have to hightail away here. 23 Savage does get out his ult with the boundless strike as well. Koyoyo pops his BKB. They're going to blow up the Lion, and Cuckoo's dead next. That means T1 likely will try to fall back, but that is the buyback now from Cuckoo. 23 Savage on the trees. He gets roared mid-leap. They're going to see him. They're going to drop that tree, and down goes the Monkey King.
Huge fight for BG. They find 3 kills, and one of them buys back, and on a core, they're the shaker. And if T1 wants any chance of holding this Roche, they're going to need more of those buybacks. They can't hold that with these 3. There's not enough damage between them.
Yeah.
Unless all 5 of BG Gaming's heroes go together in a huddle and get a Ghost Slam, they're not winning this fight, and BG Gaming will not do that.
So this is Roche number 2, Vici Gaming. Going to get the Aegis likely on Ori. Koyoyo will soon takes the shard. And he does indeed. So that's going to give him the extra cast range on Time Walk and the reverse Time Walk, which looks funny, but is actually not bad for baiting spells.
It's a very good way of getting vision. I think that's the most underappreciated part of the spell, is that you can jump in, gather information, and jump out.
It is a little bit hairy against the line, though.
Yeah,
you know, that's
for sure. But against most lineups, you will be able to jump in, get a little bit of intel, jump out, and maybe that sets you for success. Maybe you break a smoke, maybe you bait a spell, like you said. There's a lot of upsides to this.
Taking control of the outpost now, and you can see in terms of the tower pressure, they have top basically down. Tier 1 and Tier 2, so the Tier 2 mid will likely be their next choice. But bottom lane, the Tier 1 is still there. So, see what they want with this Aegis. If they attempt to go high ground, again, with a Weaver, with that Axe, I feel like going high ground is not that risky, depending on what T1 can try to do to counteract that.
That's true. You could put as long as Lena has vision, which you can give her perhaps with a hawk from an angle, she can just hit the tower from the low ground even.
Oh, they have vision here, they know that. Actually, that's T1's vision.
Carl gets
going to be spotted. Yes, that's no blink dagger for you. Koyoyo jumps in. Laguna Blade goodbye, Carl. And even if he bought back, he will not have Dragon Form for quite a while.
True. Earth Splitter for the fireworks as well. They don't want to give him any chance there. DY, they throw everything at him, and well, most of it sticks. The only thing that doesn't stick was the one that was too late. So a nice kill for them, and that's going to be at least Tier 1. I don't think Tier 2 is possible. Obviously, the wave bottom Zephyr has done a great job pushing that all the way into the enemy Tier 2. But honestly, what Vici Gaming could do here is go high ground mid.
I thought they would do that, yeah.
They can definitely do that. Now, 3 minutes on Venus Aegis, you know there's no DK. Force that buyback and go with it that way. They're going to cut this way first, though. Still have enough time. They're going to just try to backdoor the tower. Okay. DD and Lena will do that with Beastmass Aura.
Can they?
There is Glyph if they want to. They're probably going to save that for high ground, you imagine. Yep, they're going to give it up.
No,
they're not.
So it's going to regen a bit as a result, and Vici Gaming is going to regen. Wondering whether there's going to be a hold here or not, but as we can see, that is not going to happen.
We can watch this tower regen for another 10 seconds if you want. It's going to take a while to heal up to full.
Even longer now to heal up.
Okay, they can do it without the DD.
Imagine uppercutting a building. The fact that he can uppercut a building is impressive. This granite golem.
Very big boy.
Big boy indeed. All right, we got the Scotty online for 23 Savage, but Koyoyo has one of his own. Against this lineup, against Dawnbreaker, Monkey King, and Dragon, extremely good for the counter region. Carl jumps in, has his ult activated as well. They will go. The time lapse again, saving Ori, but he's going to get bursted down very slowly. The Aegis goes down despite. But there's the Solar Guardian. You can see how much Cuckoo is healing, but the Laguna Blade just rips right through him. No buyback on the Earthshake. It's a 5v4 just like that. Yep. We got the Earth Splitter coming out. Trying to apply this pressure to Zephyr right now. A nice Starbreaker, but Koyoyo should be able to finish him off as most of T1 just hightailing back to base. Carl gets taken out. No Dragon Form for you. And Vici Gaming look primed and ready to force a game number 3, Cinderin.
23 Savage had a bit of an identity crisis saying, I'm not Scarecrow, I'm Cuckoo. No, sir, Cuckoo's your teammate on Earthshaker who died before you, trying to find a kill on a Weaver. And
GG's gonna be called. It is so difficult to play into Weaver Aghanim Scepter. I mean, they had to kill Cuckoo several times over, but they did so regardless. T1 now, potentially, I mean, they're both on the brink of elimination, technically speaking, Cinderin.
Loving the adjustments from Vici Game in this game. I really think they got a much better game. The key part for me, even though Ori got ganked a bit, again,